Hi everyone, my name is Tina Chhabra and I'm here to make sure you're ready to ace your next DECA Cluster exam. Today, I'll be going over sampling, surveying, leadership, and some other key terms. Have you ever wondered how the most successful companies truly understand their customers? In this presentation, we will delve into several different concepts that will answer this question. By the end, you will have a comprehensive understanding of how these elements work together to inform strategic decisions and growth. Today, we will be talking about types of sampling, survey questions, leadership styles, and lastly, miscellaneous concepts like Simpson's paradox, frogging, and stakeholders. Before presenting products to the market, companies generally identify the needs and wants of their target audience. One way to do this is by sampling the target market. So, sampling. What is sampling? Sampling is where you get opinions from a number of people chosen from a small group in order to find out about the whole target market. This saves you time and money since it reduces the amount of data you need to still get a similar level of information. First is stratified random sampling. Here we divide the population into non overlapping groups, or strata, based on characteristics like age or gender, and randomly sample from each group. This ensures each subgroup is represented. Next, cluster sampling. Cluster sampling is where you place sampling units into a random list and draw samples using skip or sample intervals. Next, systematic random sampling. In this method, you divide the target population into non-overlapping subpopulations determined by geography and randomly sample each. This is efficient and promotes diversity in the sample. Convenience sampling. This method involves collecting data from people who are readily available. It's often used when researchers want quick results and don't have the time or resources for a more rigorous sampling method. While it's efficient, one drawback is that it may not accurately represent the larger population, leading to biased results. Judgment sampling. This method allows researchers to handpick respondents based on their knowledge or expertise. It's often used in qualitative research where the focus is on gaining insights from individuals who have specific experience related to the study topic. While this method can provide valuable information, it relies heavily on the researcher's discretion and may lead to bias if not handled carefully. Now, let's look at quota sampling. In this method, researchers ensure that specific groups within a target population are represented in the sample. For example, if a study aims to survey people of different age groups, the researcher might set quotas to include a certain number of respondents from each age category. This helps to ensure diversity in the sample, although it still may introduce some biases. And finally, we have snowball sampling, which is also known as referral sampling, which is a method in which researchers ask respondents to help them identify and recruit additional respondents for the study. This method can create a network of participants, making it easier to gather data from specific groups. Now let's look at types of survey questions. Let's start with neutral questions. These are simpling, non-threatening questions that establish rapport and put the respondent at ease. Next, leading questions. These are designed to encourage respondents to answer in a particular way that aligns with the question's creator's intention. For example, asking, "How much do you love our service?" implies a positive response. It's best to avoid leading questions as they can skew results and provide inaccurate information. Now let's discuss tabulating responses. This process involves counting the number of respondents who selected each answer to a question. This quantitative approach allows researchers to easily analyze and visualize data, helping identify trends and patterns in responses. And finally, we have survey coding. This is the process of taking open-ended responses and categorizing them into groups for analysis. By coding qualitative data, researchers can convert diverse answers into manageable formats, making it easier to interpret and compare responses. Next, leadership styles. First, democratic leadership. In this style, leaders encourage team participation in decision making. They value input from all members, which fosters a collaborative environment. This approach not only enhances team engagement, but also leads to well rounded decisions. Laissez faire leadership. This style can be effective with highly skilled and motivated teams as it encourages creativity and independence. This allows team members to have the freedom to make their own decisions. While this is really nice, it may lead to a lack of direction if it's not managed properly. Authoritarian leadership. In this approach, leaders make decisions unilaterally with little to no input from the team. This style can be effective in crisis situations where quick decisions are necessary, but it may stifle team morale and creativity in the long run. And lastly, transformational leadership. Leaders in this style inspire and motivate their followers to achieve exceptional outcomes and drive change. They focus on vision and innovation, creating an energetic environment that encourages growth and development. Transactional leadership. This is where leaders focus on structure, rewards, and penalties to manage and motivate followers. Bureaucratic leadership. Leaders rely on established rules and procedures to guide decision making and ensure compliance. Now we're going to go over some other key terms. Let's start with Simpson's paradox. This occurs when a trend that appears in separate groups or data disappears or reverses when the groups are combined. For example, a treatment might seem effective in individual groups but ineffective when all data is combined. This paradox highlights the importance of analyzing data carefully and considering the context. Next, frugging. This term describes a situation where a product marketer falsely pretends to be a market researcher conducting a statistical survey, but the true goal is to solicit donations or contributions. Frugging undermines trust in research practices and can lead to negative perceptions of organizations that engage in such tactics. And finally, stakeholders. These are individuals or groups that have an interest or investment in an organization. This includes employees, customers, shareholders, suppliers, and the community. Recognizing and engaging stakeholders is crucial for organizational success, as their interests can significantly influence decision making and outcomes. Now, let's recap. Today, we covered a range of important concepts, so let's dive right in. First, we explored different types of sampling methods: stratified random sampling, cluster sampling, systematic random, convenience, judgment, quota, and snowball sampling. Next, we discussed survey questions, highlighting the importance of neutral, leading, tabulating, and survey coding questions. Then, we reviewed various leadership styles: democratic leadership, laissez-faire leadership, authoritarian leadership, and lastly, transformational leadership. And finally, we covered some critical concepts like Simpson's paradox, frugging, and stakeholders. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next presentation.